Hello. It's pretty easy. And well, um, we're going to talk about the war. Yeah, we've been saying war. What does it mean, really? So, since the majority of you speak English, I thought it was appropriate that I use English. I was to use Swahili, believe it or not. So, what is the war about? Well, the war is about prophecy. The war is about prophecy or the fulfillment of said prophecy. Okay, so whatever you see happening there outside of Africa, which is Israel, literally and figuratively, right? I know you know the story of this portion here that is connected. It is cut off, but it is connected to that land over there they call Israel. But we know Israel is not a land, it's a peoples. So, that's not here or there. So what is happening outside, shortly? Well, what is happening outside is a consolidation of power, right? It's a consolidation of power, meaning what? In order to go to war with us, they need to gather up all their people, all of their forces, all of their people, under one government, right? How would they do that? Well, what made people come to sit in the table to create the League of Nations or even the UN? Which are exactly the same thing, ideologically. War. Okay, now this war will do so much damage that these people have to come together in order to survive. Okay? That is what is happening outside right now as we speak. Right? That is inevitable. That is inevitable. So is the formation of this one world government of theirs. And of course, for being Esau, they will always have a army for war. And we will be the one to go to war with. We will be the last thing that they will need to conquer after they have conquered everything else. Every country, I mean. Okay? Are we there? That is what is happening outside. Okay? Now I want you to notice something very, very peculiar. Why is it the most problematic places in the countries of East Africa so happen to be on the north? Why? If we talk about Tanzania, the north is the most active region of our country. If you go to Congo, the same thing. You go to the Sahel, the same thing. The north is active than the south. Why? Because it is a war strategy. Remember, these people are fighting prophecy or the fulfillment of said prophecy. So strategically, there is an issue of logistics. There's an issue of logistics. Let me grab my nifty tool here. The issue is logistics. So they'll be moving in, coming in this way, going deep, and their target is this. This is their target. They believe that if they can have a hold of this place, their survival is assured. Why? Because of the water, right? So right now, politically and in the war, they are launching assaults going up from the desert, coming into the green lush. Do you understand what I'm just saying right now, brothers and sisters? So what do you do to combat this movement? You already know that this is their target, especially this region here. If they can have a hold of Tanzania, even better. Right? It's just, you have to think from their perspective, not as an African or anything like that. Just think from their perspective. Do you know how much water is in Uganda? Do you know how much freshwater rivers are there in Uganda? With all their wealth, do you know what they can do? Do you know how much water is in Tanzania? Do you know how much water is in Kenya? But compared to Tanzania and Uganda, Kenya has less water. Okay? So, for you, members of Zion, you have to protect that line. That line should be your focus. Whatever is happening down here serves two reasons: a pincer movement or a diversion. Or a diversion. Okay, are your eyes starting to open now? So they might create all of these bogus wars, right? Like what's happening now with Egypt, Turkey, Ethiopia, and Somalia, right? What is happening here? Well, Egypt is fighting the near future war. It knows financially it depends on this. Without this pathway here being clean, they will not make money. If you look at the economy, it says so. So it is in their best interest to do whatever it takes. Now, they know that they can't ask the Bantus of the Somaliland, they cannot ask the Bantus of the Somaliland to protect them, right? By somehow allowing them to build defense positions so as they can intercept any movement that would be detrimental to their position. It is in their best interest to keep them far, yet near. Now, you might be shocked to see, like, okay, Egypt has an issue with the synagogue of Satan. They have tunnels. That's a war. This is when war is inevitable. That's when you dig a tunnel that you know there is no other way to get out of your situation than to go to war. That's why they dug those tunnels going to Gaza. Okay? That's why also we see so much activity in Kenya. If they lose Kenya, then they would have to invest more that way. So Kenya is a very strategic country, and now they're in the dark because their leadership has tried to play the devil's advocate. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. Okay? So, you people in the Sahel, you are in the front line. And you also represent the easiest part of their journey. If they were to move units, deep into the Congo, deep into Tanzania, deep into Eastern Africa, this would be the easiest portion of their journey because of the geography, right, and the vegetation coverage and everything. It's mostly desert, as you can see. So, what I'm trying to say is, this here is our heritage. This is what our fathers were given. This is what our fathers were given. We were not given a desert up here. No, that place is desolate. Okay? So, if you enter a security pact, then you need to protect each other's flank. Right? And always perform movements from deep outside moving in. But still maintaining the line from the north and the south. You understand? Do these movements every day. They have no other way to get out. So if they cause trouble in the north, you pursue them further north, which is, I do not suggest that because it will lead them deeper into friendly territory as of now. So then you need to pinch them in the middle. All right? They are going to die by our hands. Most of you Christians might not be comfortable with that ideology, but you need to read your Bible. You need to read your Bible. Okay? I've tried to make peace with these people. I've said we, as Israelites, we are not greedy. But they had an issue with going into fair business with us because that would put us in a place of power which they do not want. So now the only alternative left is going to war. So whatever is happening outside and inside, that is the plan. So they imagine. So all of this French movement, is just to make their presence, because they need to destabilize this whole situation here. They need to destabilize this whole region here for them to be, because if they get into the Congo, game over. Game over. It's going to be a vicious, vicious war. It's going to be a vicious, serious war. And they have bases set up in Zambia. Right? We were just woken up to not allow these people to insert their bases. And now they have bases in Kenya. And they're trying to build more bases in the Horn of Africa. And since these people spiritually align themselves to Esau more than they do to Jacob, so they are going to work for their Arab League. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I don't need to tell you what's happening in North Sudan. So is the North, right? I've cried about the North. This is not the first time for you people in Zion. I've talked about the North seriously before even Makonda came through. I told you, mnabidi mjielewe sana. You need to like be really, really attentive, because by the time they are able to destabilize Arusha, Kenya is gone. Kenya is gone right now. Kenya is gone. It's in shambles. I hope you're hearing the things that are coming out of there. It's gone. Nobody cares. Nobody's there to follow. About nothing. They just fetched more than 20 bodies from a dump site. Nothing. The suspect escaped. Nothing. The suspect literally walked out of the police station, and you people think that this is somehow unreal? This is happening. This is happening. And God will not allow them to come deep into the Congo, to have this heritage of ours. He will not allow it. So what does that mean for those countries who try to oppose what is coming? War. I have nothing else to tell you. War. You will be destroyed. You will be removed for the sake of its people. Is that sinking in? So, that is just a realization. And now that is out, of course, I said everything is intense with me. Okay? So, you need to have one mind. You are literally Israel of the scripture. And if you take the scripture and you fit it into Africa, we fit in perfectly. Perfectly. We literally belong there. But we have to recognize that there are no countries, there's just a peoples. There's just the 12 tribes talked about in scripture. There's just that. And then there's our enemies. Right now, their ego is through the roof, right? Because they have fallen angel technology. But as we know, fallen angel technology is just God's technology. They just stole it. And now they have this huge pride. They think, okay, we overpower these people when it comes to weapons and everything. We have things that people can only see in movies, right? All of these things that we see in sci-fi movies, science fiction movies, I would say like 70% is real, like legit real. Now this is their pride, you know? This is their pride. They have all of these weapons and stuff like that, you know? That's why they are so arrogant. But the arrogance is coming to an end and they know it. So, we need to focus. And all of those who want to insist on keep on sleeping while others are fighting, what do you do to them in the army? You whoop their ass at first. Are they awake? If they continue sleeping, you might as well just shoot them and be over with it. Because checking up on them is literally you taking yourself away from the war to focus on some idiot inside. Okay? So leadership in the north should be taken like seriously, even in the south, even in the center. right? Because if they cause trouble in the center, it's quite easy to pull troops from the north to come to the center. Quite easy. So that's why the south serves more like a diversionary tactic, diversion. So those are their movements, and that's their plan. And their plan has started a long time ago, since the Arabs invaded Africa. Can you imagine how long was that? Right? Before Egypt, Libya, Morocco, all of these places, in fact the entire world, before the entire world was whitewashed, literally. Do you understand what I'm saying? Literally. Them taking a woman of ours, impregnating them, making only. If it came out black, it was dead. Because they knew in the future this is the resistance. Right? This is how they operate in the spiritual realm. So if it was mixed, it was a 50-50 chance. Okay, because they had that blood in them, that curse. So they could be either. Right? They could be either. And these serve as perfect spies and people to insert themselves deep into African politics. Right? So India think that it's free. So what does England do to keep its foot in India and in Africa? It chooses Sunak, right? A mixed. It was perfect, right? The biggest bosses when it comes to security, even in Africa, black. They are perfect infiltration. Perfect to infiltrate, because without asking them, without seeing them acting, they have no allegiance. I am black through and through. I have no choice. I carry the seed of Abraham in me. I have to die. But if I am mixed, that is something else. So what do? Pre-war. We don't know. We didn't know that we are at war. So they launch preemptive attacks. We were not prepared. So what do? They weaken the fighting force. That's why I've been screaming at the top of my lungs here. Do not listen to Western propaganda when it comes to women empowerment. Women empowerment nowadays literally means weakening the male species. And that's what is happening. So they come in here in Africa and they make the men homosexuals, chopping off from the army, right? Chopping off people from the army. That is one way. The other way, let me show you something. This one here, this is literally their plan. They show it to you, they have to show it to you, because that's the sorcery they believe. So they believe by 2030 this is all going to be in fruition, that they are going to have Africa in a chokehold. By that time, that Africa will not have an option than to turn to the Europeans, to cleave to them for survival. Because we will believe that God has abandoned us. God has left us to suffer here, to depend on the enemy. There's no worse fate for Israel, yeah? And this has happened over and over again, if I may not say so myself. Huh? Okay. So let's cover one by one of these supposed agendas, right? So they know, you have to look at this in this perspective. They know the underdevelopment that is within the continent is because of these factors that they have outlined here. So it is perfect. We can use this to our advantage. Well, we have to because this is a weapon. right? It is the enemy's weapon, right? It is the enemy's weapon. You just don't pick up an enemy's weapon. It might be booby trapped, right? So we're gonna disarm the booby traps, and that's what I've been doing for the past, 5 years now. For those at least to the known, but I've been working far more back than that. Okay, so let's look at this even closer. So they wanna cause poverty, basically take money from the people's pockets. What have I been saying? Put money in people's pockets. The literal market depends on it. Buying and selling, that is literally the market. And if people, especially governments, keep collecting money and not putting money in people's pockets, then the market collapses. Poverty. If they don't buy, industry shuts down. That's what it is, right? I'm speaking to educated people here, right? Hunger, right? We see the movements of Bill Gates with these seeds that cannot reproduce. That's how they cause hunger. If they phase out all of the seeds that God created and they put on the mixed, just like what they want to do to us, they want to whitewash even the seeds, my nigga. Everything getting whitewashed, you know. They done whitewash dogs. I done talked about this, right? German Shepherd is not a real dog. Okay? German Shepherd is not a real dog. But that's okay. So we see what they're saying, that they wanna cure hunger permanently, and what they are doing are actually and literally contrary. If they phase out the seeds that reproduce by themselves, that creates literally a system that will be damaged as long as people don't pump money into it, going back to poverty, right? They can, because this is proprietary technology. What is this GMO seeds? These are proprietary technologies, right? They have patents, they cannot be made public. So all of this nonsense of these ministers coming out here and saying, oh, it is safe, nigga, you is lying. If you don't know, shut your mouth. Say you don't know. Can we all look at this together? But we're dealing with bad leadership. Good health and well-being. Yes, we talked about this, right? They have launched a nutrition warfare in every... Look what that they did to the women of Congo. And we're still dealing with these people. Do you understand the amount of craziness that exists in Africa? So a country endorses a medical company of their country that is under their own regulations to deliver medication to us, which sterilizes us or kills us or gives us conditions that are fatal. And we are still dealing with you. This is how nice we are. We don't repay you with evil. You are not even supposed to step land on, you are not even supposed to step your foot in this continent for what you have done. If only Africa had one leader, you would not step on this continent. You would not be bullying us over planes, right? That whole strike of Boeing, that's a bogus strike. That's a bogus strike. All of that is just to, I know why, we know why. To call further delays. Let's move on. Quality education. They have infiltrated our education system, teaching us lies, misleading us. We need to sit down and seriously reevaluate our education. This is not Cambridge. You better recognize my nigga. Okay? Gender equality. We have talked about this extensively. They say that they want to cause equality, but what they are doing is causing inequality, right? They say they want to cure inequality in America. What do? They exclude white people from the whatever agenda they got going on to reduce or to literally increase inclusion. So this is the type of, they're talking sorcery here. We are dealing with sorcery of the highest level, and they always do things backward. They always do things backward. They say this, but they do that. Look at Ruto. He says this, he does this. Right? He doesn't care. He's not one of you. He doesn't think himself as one of you. But let me tell you, Ruto, you have the seed of Jacob under that sack of yours. Unless you chop it off, you are done. They want to kill you, your children, your wife, everything black. Because that is the threat to white. It's basic science, brothers and sisters. It's basic science. They call it recess and whatever, but it is basic science. Okay? Clean water and sanitation. We talked about this also extensively, right? So whatever they do from henceforth, you need to look at the environmental impact of the water on the surface, under it, because this lithium mining stuff, this is bullshit, brothers. This is nonsense. You need to be completely sure that what they are doing does not affect the water table underneath the ground, because there is waste. That's the hallmark of industrialization, waste. If not, if we find that it's not safe, take the raw material, go back with it into your country and go do it over there. Jobs be damned. Okay, because they created this whole politics of, oh, we want jobs, we want jobs. They have created this situation in the first place, that governments are not able to create jobs, and here they come with the solutions. We want to build more industries, and in the meanwhile, so we need to be very selective of what we allow as quote-unquote industry into our country. We need to be seriously alert. Okay? Like seriously alert. There should be like a hotline between all of you in Zion, all of you, that anything happens in one place, the information is passed to all of you instantly. Okay? Affordable clean energy. It's the same thing as what I was talking about here, right? All of these quote-unquote alternative energies, they are literally dangerous. Literally dangerous. They speak backwards. Look, I have looked into solar. I have looked into wind turbines. And follow. Are they recyclable? Because they like to use this word here, recyclable, recyclable. What's the lifespan of a battery? And what would happen if an entire nation adapted the philosophies of using batteries in vehicles, for instance? 5 years, solar panels. Then you need to get rid of it and get a new one. So I'm not talking nonsense here, brothers and sisters. I'm not talking nonsense. I know what I'm talking about. and this information about how renewable energies, or whatever they suggest as to be renewable energies, at least what they push, the top 3, right? We know they are not going to push geothermal because that is sustainable and actually a known energy source, but they have not invested anything on that. They're just silent. They're gonna just suggest short-term solutions to make you a market, to cleave onto you. So let's move on. Decent work and economic growth. We know this. What do you mean decent work? Repetitive work? Creative work? What do you mean? So they are going to destroy jobs. That's what Elon is doing. That's what these big companies literally look at the biggest 10 companies in the world. And look at what happened since 2019. Track their employment and unemployment rate. And trust me, their unemployment rate is off the roof. Their layoff rate is off the roof, because they want to create a crisis. They want to create an outcry. First, to go to war with the supposed enemies, China and Russia, and then to go to war with Africa after China and Russia does no longer exist and still their problems persist. Because that's the issue, right? They think that destroying China and destroying USA, destroying Russia would literally solve their issues. But nah, it won't. Okay? Industrialization, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, right? Another Trojan horse we talked about, right? A Trojan horse. They have not given us innovation, because if you give technology, that's a whole legal process. It's not things that you just speak up in a podium. No, you need to actively do it. Okay, I give you, this is how you manufacture an engine, for instance, a motor vehicle engine. This is how you do it. This is the tools. These are the ratios of the metals and stuff. This is how you make these metals. They can't have that. They can't let us be dependent. Okay? They can't let us be dependent. So they can't say that Trump cannot come out here and just say, America is broke because of Africa. He cannot come and say that. The economics would break. Literally, the economics would break. But intellectuals, people who look at things for what they are, they say, okay, that statement is true. They have not done a good job when it comes to how they treat Africans. And inevitably, here we are. So now they are tricking the Americans to hate the Chinese and the Russians, thinking that they are the problem in their country, distracting them from the reality that they are leaders. The Americans and the Europeans, they are the problem. They are the ones cooking up war every day in Africa. So you're telling me that warship was sent here by the peoples of France, like they sign off? Okay, you take this ship to threaten them. That's what the French people told Macron to do. How can things be so open and yet people are so blind? This is why I am perplexed by this whole situation. I am completely perplexed. I've told you about fuel. It's not biofuel, that's mineral. That oil that you get from the ground, it does not have where they come from. It does not come from where they say it comes from. Yeah? It's a mineral. After you extract it, after a while, it reforms again somewhere else. There are just pockets of it. Just like you don't find gold anywhere, it's the same thing as oil. But now they cannot have us using oil because we have so much of it, more than any country in this world. right? In fact, if you combine all of them, I guarantee you, if you combine all of their deposits that the ones they know about and the ones they don't know about, they still wouldn't reach the amount of resource that we have. They won't. They lie every time. America, they lie. They say, oh, we discovered a lithium mine, the largest in the world. In fact, that's the statement they come with. Well, what the hell are you doing in Africa then? If the most important component of your future, which is a battery, they are creating a problem for us. We need to think in the extreme long term. Okay, I have this battery here. I put it in my vehicle. What's the lifetime of this battery? And what am I gonna do when it comes to disposing of it? And trust me, these renewables, most of them are at the end of the line of lifespan, or basically recyclability. They're at the end of what we call recycling. They can no longer be recycled. Because these extremists, these environmental extremists, they're crazy. They love trees more than people. That's the pinnacle of environmental extremism. They love trees more than people. That's what they're doing here in Africa. They are pushing leaders to be more violent to their people when it comes to conservation, more than to actually protect them. And it's ridiculous to me. This whole idea of conservation is theirs. And what we do is, with our land is none of their business. But they want us to keep the land pristine for them. Right? They can't have... They're going to spend so much to demolish what we build. So they want forests to remain so as when they come in, they can just set up shop and boom. That's why they want to clear that Ngorongoro. And they are threatening you with, oh, we will take it out of UNESCO or bullshit like that. And here we are fighting with the Maasai and trying to... This is ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. And it's mind-boggling to me. That we take any form of advice while seeing the dire consequences of what they're doing. They want Ngorongoro for some reason. There is something there. That's why they use the UN, their weapon of the West, to tell you that. And you as the president of Tanzania, you said this with your own mouth. You say that they are saying that that forest is decreasing because there is human activity in that Ngorongoro area. So conservation efforts need to be increased, and they're actually literally funding it. That's a prime area. If there were any refugees from Europe, where would you put them? You tell me. Where would be the first place you would put a refugee if the whole of Europe was burnt? Where would you put them? Ngorongoro. That's a perfect place to put them. There's no possibility of flooding, a flat plain. They can set up tents and survive and conquer. Let's proceed with this quote-unquote development. Reduce inequality. We talked about this, right? Inequality in what? They are doubling back on agenda number 5. Now they're talking about in the workplace, right? Now we have gotten women where men are. They can work on construction and all of these jobs that men were mainly dominating, right? Which was not even an issue to begin with, but regardless. Now we gotta talk about this gender pay gap. This is the next phase of the nonsense, right? Sustainable cities and communities, right? They wanna control how we spread Okay, you need to think logically. They want to control how we spread. That's why most of these vehicles, electric vehicles, they don't go far. Okay? And if they phase out the motor engine, which they are doing systematically by just reducing the cylinders, it's a whole ritual. What would happen? It would be a hassle for a person to reach deep into Africa. It would be a hassle, to be honest. There's literally one car that has risen to the top, Rivian. Deal Blue? Rivian, that's their gold standard of what the best they could do when it comes to range. So we are gonna replace unlimited range with limited range at the cost of time. And we are saying this is sustainable. But in order to convince you that, they had to convince you we are living in a globe. The weather systems are controlled by, I don't know, North Pole and South Pole and these weird phenomenons by, they led you here. So I'm not shocked that you believe them more than what I'm saying right now, but I'm surely gonna deprogram the hell out of you. I don't need a double agent. I don't need a double agent. I need an agent that knows exactly what they are fighting for and who they are fighting for and why. Right? Responsible consumption and production. So this is where they control what you sell and what you buy. Right? What you sell and what you buy. Recently there's been a ban on and they're focusing on children mostly because they are fighting a future war, right? They're phasing out some foods by saying, this is unhealthy, while they are the same people who certified them. And the certification is literally on the bag. You don't even need to go far to look at documents. No, you can look at the bag. It is certified as safe. So why are you coming here backsliding as usual, telling me that it will kill me? So we were dying, and people are not asking those questions at all. They're just moving on. Right? Responsible consumption and production. So they want to monitor what you eat and what you produce. And this is a Trojan horse to us, but for outside of Africa, it's going to be intense. Right? Why? Because they need to cause a cry out. They need to make the situation of the citizens intense to cause an uprising. So whatever they suggest at that pinnacle of this said uprising, which is war, people would not hesitate. They would buy into the lie. So whatever they do from now to then, it is what it is. It's just a deception. We know they want Africa, full stop. UFOs, aliens come, we know you want Africa. A whole comet is coming. What they use a school bus. They use the comparison of a school bus, 5 school bus wide. Or they say they use these terms like a football pitch. This is how many times I've heard their psyops. Football pitch size asteroid is gonna fly by Earth. We know you want Africa, and you ain't gonna get it. Now, are you, my brothers and sisters, going to give it to them? That's another issue. This is your inheritance. So whatever you do with it, it is what it is. Climate action. Cracking down on production, literally stagnating industry. Right? Stagnating industry. That's what they're doing. And they're going to blame climate change for everything. Diseases, floodings, and this and that, and this and that. The world has been weird, man. The world has been weird. Since 2019, the world has gone weird. Okay? Because it is about to stabilize. The world now is crying. It is about to stabilize. But now it has to be violent. It's all in the sun. There's no climate change. It's all about the sun. Right? Now they are leading you with this climate philosophies, calling you to climate, whatever, COP, whatever, yada, 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 convincing you this and that, convincing you this and that. When you go to those meetings, just subvert their intentions to work for us. Full stop. Dilute their intentions. But they will not determine how we exploit our resources by any pact that was made there. It's null and void. Israel had no leadership. It's null and void. What remains are just papers and ink. You know this as much as I do. Life below water, right? Talk about this black African fish flying over there, just invading other people's territory and stuff. Right? So if they tell you they want to invest in fishing, what you should be concerned about is overfishing, because overfishing exists. Because this graph of fishing and industrialization of fishing, at the pinnacle, there's just destruction. Right? They call it efficiency. Right? Efficiency. This efficiency, when it comes to fishing, is destructive. Right? Look at their shores. You don't need to go far. Look at their shores. Are they seeing more fish with their quote-unquote preservation efforts? Are they seeing more fish or less? They have literally destroyed these fishing vessels. They literally just destroy the fishing, the fish houses, and all of them. They just destroy them. The corals, they destroy them. They just drag a big load every day, just dragging. Just dragging a big load. We are efficient fishermen. No. We needed to stop at fishing with that stick. We needed to stop there. That was enough, because we took from the ocean what we needed. But now we have industries. We need to keep fish for 3 months in the refrigerator. Why? And still, people have no money to purchase soy-said fish in the market. So why are we fishing in the first place? And of course, life on land. Right? They're going to attack and transmutate every form of vegetation out there to cause it to die. To cause it to die, because they have the cure for death. So they think that they can just enter into the handprint of God and modify it, and then later on they can just unmodify it without any form of consequences or repercussion for that obvious abuse. Well, it is what it is. You have been to those meetings. I'm not speaking to newbies here. I'm speaking to presidents who have been to these climate meetings. What they're saying and what they're doing is literally contrast. yeah, and they contradict each other. Is that true or false? Plain and simple. Let's move on. Okay, Ghana, welcome to the circus. Right? I'm gonna do a proper introduction because there's still activity, right? One government extended the voting and the other dissolved the government. Timely decisions. I don't know, internally influenced or externally influenced. So I am yet to see, right? And you are Zion if I say you are Zion. If you are not, you're not. And those who come into Zion, get with the program. Ghana, get with the program. I need to see activity. My eyes on you. In Nigeria, it's crazy. Okay, keep the same momentum going. Even increase the speed. Get more people involved so as you do not get exhausted. You understand? Yeah, because this is a very atrocious warfare. And sometimes when a few of us rise to the top, they think that attacking us viciously will cause the whole thing to collapse on itself. So that needs to end, right? So this is, they have written books about it. And this is how they destroy Zion. Will you let them destroy Zion? Will you let them destroy what God has gifted us? His people, His beloved. We are literally just there in the eye of His God, like just there. And the devil want to touch us, you know? God literally just there touch the eye, the nerve. So all of those people opposing me, the prince, you have a problem in your hands. I have an unlimited supply of operatives in all walks of life. And they are waking up and they are working like they should. I'm gonna repeat again. You cannot mix clay and iron. It's written in the scripture. It's not possible. Iron and clay cannot cleave to one another. Evil cannot coexist with good. Cannot. Okay, so we cannot coexist with fallen angels in this realm. They have to go. And everybody who stands with them goes also. Ask you, when they ask you who told you that, tell them Michael. Tell them that. This is that attrition warfare, right? At this time when it was a perfect strike even, you know, when the UK riots, now they want to turn Nigerian women to targets. Nigerian women and men into targets by just coming out here just giving ignorant statements. So you're telling me that is such a problem that you had to issue a statement that Nigerian women are so appalling and so disagreeable that they always resort to calling the police on their husbands. Okay, like I've said before, the devil is telling the truth, but damn it, it's not the entire truth, right? I know there are loving husbands and wives out there that have not called the police on each other. Right? So we need to do better when it comes to marital relations. That's a given. We have talked about it extensively, haven't we? Look at this here. My guy here is, look at the contrast. Like, how can Luto be dreaming this much? How can you be this deluded? Okay, let me ask you this, brothers and sisters. If it's true or false, did God make the entirety of humanity out of one person? Not once, not twice. Did he? If it's true, then what makes people think that it has changed? What makes people that they think that, okay, I'm because this is what it's about, okay? He's spiritually aligned with these people. Okay, I'm spiritually aligned to you people. I am one of you, and they receive you and they convince you like you are one of them. They love you, you are their brother, they're gonna stand on you, they're gonna back you up for whatever movement you make. Do this for the brotherhood, yada, 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 yada. This is the type of propaganda they send. But if it's not you, Ruto, who is going to save Kenya, then it's your child. If it's not your child, maybe your grandchild will not be like you. So you either be that person or you're gonna be removed. You can't trick me, you can't lie to me. I am the center of their war, literally. Everything evolves around me and what I'm looking at and the people I love and the people I care for. And you're holding my people hostage. What now? Tapigwa. Hamna nyingine tena. Unafikia Mungu atawaruhusu wetu wazungu waje kuchukua Kenya? Wewe. Unajua kizaazaa gani kitatokea? Maisha ya Uganda yanategemea pipeline za Kenya za mafuta. Na mlikuwa mna issue hapa juzi juzi. Is it a lie? It almost went military. Almost went military. Na ungelitali Tanzania tungekupiga. Huo ndo ukweli, tungekupiga. Tungekupiga. Kwa sababu sisi tunajua kuangalia kwenye haki na mwenye si haki. Na pia tunajua kila nchi inajiendesha yenyewe, and these people have been highly respective. Mimi tu ndo sijali mpaka wote. Utawala wangu, we. Paka. My guy. So this is a token, right? They sent these people here to kill Tshisekedi. It failed. And now they are killing them. If I was in a position to say anything, I would say, return these people here. We would kill them ourselves. And I would offer them their lives in terms of service and intelligence. That's the only way. Credible, tangible intelligence of who sent them and why. And which channels they use to conduct these operations, where they trained, the people they knew, all of their contacts. Believe it or not, I'll keep them alive. Are they able to redeem themselves? But since they are holding them, they are cleaning up their own mess and using it as a political token of good, what? Good fellowship. Eh? We know that planning a coup d'etat is not a simple thing. Having moving a military operation is not a cheap thing. So this bogus thing that you're trying to convince us that this single businessman somehow he's dealing with cannabis, he somehow funded this operation to topple a government. Are you serious? He wasn't there to topple the government. He might have not known about it. He was not there to topple the government. He was just there to kill Tshisekedi. Full stop. Now imagine the chaos that will erupt out there with all of that instability during that time. Even now. Do you understand what I'm saying? So these people are very tactical. Very tactical. You gotta be very tactical too. Okay? And Israel is the definition of tactical. God intelligence level. Nigga, you better connect. Okay? So the flip state, okay? The flip state is pushing more and more. It is being pushed more and more into BRICS. Right? And it is placed in a very strategic area. That's why I call it a flip state in this war. Right? Watch it closely. It's active in Africa, it's active there. And it supposedly wants to invest in our continent. We are on to you niggas. To those, this is just a root of the synagogue of Satan. Right? How do you know? That star is back again. That star, the correct representation of that star is the one on the wall. As above, so below. Right? Let me show you some. Okay. If you hear that star, it's two triangles, one triangle facing up and the other triangle facing down, right? It's literally the symbolism here, right? Two fingers pointing up, two fingers pointing down, right? They are mocking the Lord's Prayer, right? So the devil is telling you that the kingdom, he wants to bring hell to earth, right? He wants to bring hell to earth. How do they do it? Chaos. Okay? They have a whole situation over there. And these people are just there to chip away from my flock. Right? They're building their whole entire movement under the foundation of sand. I didn't send you. I don't know you. That's what I'm going to say to you. What is the army if it's not leadership? So if you're operating outside, who are you fighting for? We gotta assume and walk under the pretense that you are either an enemy or a friend until we know, until you make it clear you are an enemy. Right? We won't shoot you in your head or chest. We'll shoot you at your feet and then question you where your allegiances lie. And that's what I'm doing. And most of you are traitors. So this was 11 years ago. And they're blaming Kabila, Kagame and Museveni. That's the whole nine. You might not be the whole reason why this war is going on. No, let me take that back. You might not be the reason that this war started, but you're definitely the reason that it is where it is right now. Right? Uganda, Burundi, and Congo, they're taking action. Rwanda chooses to stay outside, to even launch operations, cross-border operations. How would it feel if those cross-border operations were launched in your country? And you think if you attack Congo, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Sudan will just stand by idly? You don't even need those many people. We literally have you surrounded. Literally, we have you surrounded. And you still have the nerve to come here and negotiate. You need to apologize and send your men to clean up your mess. This leverage that you are looking for, this leverage that these people are looking for you so as they can continue using your country, either you know it or you don't. I'm not an animal, you know. I do not just attack. I'm very strategic. I don't waste energy. Have you ever seen a lion just walking around, just running around, exercising? No. Very efficient. Now I'm telling you, and Ruto, you need to check how you move. Look at your situations. I didn't create those situations. I didn't. I wasn't the one who suggested to you that broken financial bill. I wasn't even, I was still young when this whole Congo DRC situation started. Imagine, where was I 11 years ago? I'm 30 right now. Do you think somehow I had influence over what is happening in Congo even back then? Nah. Seriously, nah. And if you are saying that, you have no other alternative than to fight. This is just the truth, Kagame. You have no alternative than to fight. Even if you say, okay, I'm going to pull back my armies, I'm not going to launch any type of operations, and we're not going to create a situation where we can monitor each other and whatnot. Trust me, they will get you involved. Somebody stupid from deep in Congo will have your uniform. How hard is it to replicate your uniform anyway? They are dead, nobody to question them. The assumption will be Rwanda did it. So I've given you hekima. I've told you, you have no other option than to fight. Now you fight who? That's your choice. Either fight with us or fight against us. Plain and simple. Okay? We are tired of poverty in this region. We are tired of death. If all of you will be the last thing we kill, we are going to do it pristinely. And then we are never going to touch blood again. Hmm? 1 million, they say that, while it's closer to 400,000 actually. So they exaggerate the problem so as they can swoop in and call for humanitarian aid to Nigeria. That's what they want. That's why they did this 5 hours ago today. Don't they know that you are handling this situation? And you're actually doing great? No. They want to infiltrate. Do not let a good crisis go to waste. That's what they want to do. They want to bring their medication there, and that medication is going to kill you. So it's just they're going to do this over and over, over and over, over and over. They just did it to us a couple of months ago with their quote-unquote fortified rice. It's a joke. Singeli, the most frenetic beat of Africa. It's not a beat of Africa, it's a beat of Tanzania. And we are not really interested in you stealing our stuff. You just stole breakdancing and everything, and just made it white to a joke on that Olympic joke. Okay? Now for these artists dealing with these treacherous snakes, offer them legal counsel, right? An artist is an artist. It does not mean they are legally or aware of how everything else works. It's not necessarily the case. And these big companies like Sony, they have overwhelmed your artists with, I'm talking about like many pages, like 100 pages contracts, you know. Them niggas don't read. They don't really understand that they're becoming slaves. That's apart from the whole initiation to satanic occults. So help them handle business. Help them make money outside of every crouch of the synagogue of Satan. Right? They are channeling all of our potential and using that potential against us. Right? Why are black people so lost? Because the devil used black people to lose them. If that is even the correct English. Yeah, lose them. Huh? Look at this curse here. So this young woman here had to die under this ritual here. Michael the Prince. Are you serious, man? Keep doing your sorceries, man. I'm just waiting for you. Oh, really? My guy here in the center looks like Harvey Weinstein, doesn't he? Yeah, he's of the same bloodline. So go figure. This is serious. And people think they are the prime example of democracy. Are you joking, bro? Anyway, let me go, not for long. Prince Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.